So today we're doing another look back at a video I recorded last year, just like we did last week, but also since it's been so long since I looked at this project, there's something that happened that's pretty ironic. Let's take a look.
So this week I have another unboxing.
So yes, this is another unboxing video.
We're gonna start opening the package here. I have a camera looking straight down at me, or the table rather. The box is actually a little big. That's strange. Amazon usually fills the box with tons of packaging and that bubble stuff. But what I'm unboxing today is the COMICA WM200 A lavalier mic system.
Now, if you haven't caught on to what the irony is, then we're off to a good start, and this will actually go a lot smoother than I thought. But the audio is just straight from the camera. You can see in the video that I'm wearing a lavalier microphone, but because it's not recorded straight to the camera, and somehow I just didn't get to save in the audio file in the project folder, I don't have the original audio from the lavalier. So instead, you're hearing some heavy modulated audio from the camera.
This is $390 on Amazon.
Now there are other similar models in the market as well. You might have noticed that this looks like a kit that Sony also makes, and Saramonics makes a knockoff. Well, this is a knockoff of both, or perhaps just the Sony. I'm not sure. Let me skip a lot of the beginning part and sort of summarize it. Essentially, I bought this unit because I saw a review from Tom Still can say it a year later. He was reviewing the WM300 A, which is essentially the same unit as mine, except for one thing.
This is the 200 unit. And, you might think, oh, 300 is better than 200. Why did you get a worse one? Also, you might get the idea by the fact that the 300 is a little bit more expensive. They're actually the same unit. Everything about it is the same.
Except for the built-in battery that I mentioned.
Now, why did I go with this option? The 300M seemed very attractive with the built-in battery because I hate having to charge my AA's. I mean, I don't even have one right now. I'm just going to use these standard ones that actually expired in 2006, so I don't feel too bad about that.
But more on this later. We'll come back to it.
After reading all the comments on Tom's video, everyone did have a point. It is really beneficial to be able to just pop batteries that you can buy at the store if you're in a shoot and you run out of your charged batteries. It's a lot easier to find these batteries than to go recharge your battery and have to wait until it's charged. So that's a major option, and actually the main thing why I got this one instead of the 300. Now, why did I get instead of the Saramonics one? Because the audio quality seems a little bit better. Right now, and for most of my videos, I'm recording with the A-Lab mic from Aperture, and the quality is pretty good. I paired it with the H1N from Zoom, and to me that seems like the cheapest way to get really good audio quality. That's also wireless, but it's a lot of work to sync it in post.
And somehow I managed to keep doing that for the last year every time I use the lavalier system. Why? Again, we'll get into that. So let's fly to this next part. Here's some other reasons why the COMICA seemed like a good option compared to the Saramonics. 1. You get a case. And numero dos, you actually get audio levels in the transmitter. Something you don't get with the Saramonics.
I like the case it comes with. It's pretty solid and it has nice foam paddings. Again, there's a lot of adapters, and it comes with a lot of little clips and adapters. These are hot shoe adapters. There's 3 of them. 3 belt clips. Not sure why. You only have 2. So this here is the receiver, and these 2 are transmitters. So yes, you do get 2 microphones with this system, and they're both wireless, and they both only require 1 receiver.
You also get these nice wind filters. They're nice and fluffy.
They're quite large. I don't know if you want to use them. The capsule is quite big. I'm used to the A-Lab. In my opinion, it's pretty big as well, but this is even bigger. I didn't really expect that.
One of the things I didn't like about the system is that the XLR adapter that comes with it is only a mono.
XLR is a single channel connector, meaning that the signal will be mixed down into 1 channel.
And there's a setting you can change within the receiver to output mono.
And then I won't be able to adjust levels for individual mics in post.
Something that you can more easily do recording just using the normal 3.5 input, essentially giving you a downside when using this with a cinema camera. But I would really like them to see include a 2-channel XLR adapter.
That's a little bit annoying. Okay, so we're loading the battery into the receiver.
Something to realize fact is that though this might be cheaper than the built-in battery one, you'll also have to invest in batteries. And getting disposable ones can get really expensive over time. So you'll probably want to get rechargeable ones if you don't already have them. You can get some cheaper ones online, but now you also need a charger and a bunch of other things. So keep that in mind. If you don't have rechargeable batteries, the price difference isn't as big. Why was the ability to monitor levels on the transmitter so important for me? Well,
it helps a lot when troubleshooting, because you don't want to assume things when you're troubleshooting. You want to really narrow things down. And if the receiver is not getting a signal, you don't know if it's the microphone, the connection between the microphone and the receiver, if it's the signal between the two, or if it's the cable between the receiver and your camera. There's all the things that could go wrong, and it's really helpful to have the more information, the better. So that's something I really like about this system. These batteries are just that. Even though transmitters have some battery, the receiver straight up died, and that's one of the things that was mentioned in Tom's video, that the receiver consumes batteries quite quickly. So I won't be able to test them out right now, but I'll insert a clip here at the end comparing the two microphones, and you can judge for yourself. But for now, this is it. So enjoy the test, and I'll see you guys next time.
well, here you go. Here's a couple of times I've used this unit.
I never got around to having samples of this microphone and the mic pack because we've had so many problems with it, and that's going to be its own little video. It might actually be out before this, I don't know, but yep, there we go.
You can see it fly off.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So let's check in with our CFast. Where is it?
You keep losing it.
I know. It keeps blending into the environment.
So the idea is that, like, watch. Come here. Like, you're gonna be, see where how the echo like kind of works in here. It's gonna be in here, and this is where we probably record the lines.
Okay, so I'm standing right here.
You're gonna pretend like we're at the urinals, but we're not.
Okay.
You got it? Ready? Huh? No, we didn't do it yet. You good? Hey man, I love your cosplay.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck away from me.
I like this pose.
Get up.
One second.
What the heck, man? In the bathroom. Gosh.
Oh, Pablo's joining. Yeah.
Oh gosh. What's wrong? I don't know. What did you say? Are you recording?
Alright.
Do you know if the audio is working? Did I turn it on? Okay.
I guess we're gonna find out the hard way, huh?
Yep.
All right. Good. A convention is a gathering of people with like-minded interests. So what could be more fun than exploring outside the convention? The answer is literally anything else. But alas, you will be forced to leave the convention at some point, mostly due to the convention closing or food.
It's interesting that those are the biggest things that people can fight about or have disagreements about. So managing your money.
Did you notice something annoying here?
We both want to retire and have a. When you ask them where they want to go.
It happens pretty often.
Was our loving parents would invest like their last penny to buy Encyclopedia Britannica, you know, title to their land through this of adverse possession. Very often, sometimes, just your neighbor will have the right to cross your property.
If you want, yeah, sure.
Getting B-roll.
Now, at first, this seemed to me like a pretty reasonable problem for a wireless system to not be able to have a consistent connection sometimes, especially at places like the convention center, where I was using both microphones at the same time. However, when I was later testing this back at home, when the units were really close by and only using one of the microphones, and the problem was still happening, I kind of slowly started to change my mind and say, maybe there's actually something wrong with my unit specifically. As I contacted COMICA through email, they sort of just sent me a guide on how to properly pair them, which didn't really contain any new information that I wasn't already doing. But I also didn't push the subject any further. This was also around the time where I stopped making videos so regularly, so in general I sort of stopped using this system altogether. A couple more months passed, and whenever I had the opportunity to use it, this problem would arise again, and I would just decide to use something else because it just wasn't reliable. Eventually I ended up contacting COMICA again, but this time I would get replies in broken English, and after several weeks of back and forth, they essentially said, "Oh, you bought this on Amazon, you have to contact our Amazon sales department." And realizing that by this time several months have passed, I didn't. And I probably should have, but I just dislike dealing with customer service people, especially ones that don't seem to want to help you as much. For example, the first time I contacted the company, I feel like they really should have checked in with me again to see if the problem was resolved or if I need anything else. And even the second time, actually, I never heard back from them after I didn't reply. So, while not saying that it's fully their fault, I also feel like they could have dealt with my problem a little bit better. Getting back to whether my unit has a problem or not though, I'm still actually not sure. See, what happened is, testing it further after realizing I never published this video and went to get back to it, it wasn't as easy to reproduce the problem. Not to mention that in an attempt to not carry as many cases with me whenever I go on shoots, which I know, I said that the case is a huge plus, but I ended up not wanting to use the original case. So instead I made a designated spot for these in my miscellaneous bag that I carry around with me all the time. At some point when putting stuff away, I accidentally dropped one of the units and it fell on top of one of the transmitters, breaking the screen. It was a really short drop, maybe about 10 inches. But that's another thing that kept me from contacting warranty. I just assumed that they would blame any issues on that since the unit wasn't new, and I could just see them saying, "Oh, it has physical damage, there's nothing we can do." Whether that makes sense to you or not, I'll leave that to you. A year later, when I'm trying to reproduce a problem, or at least sort of pinpoint what the problem is, at first I thought, maybe the voltage that the rechargeable batteries provide is the problem, since with rechargeable batteries you never get a fully charged icon. Rechargeable batteries just have a lower initial voltage than the disposable ones. So I tried testing it with disposable batteries, and for a moment I had a eureka moment because the unit started working perfectly fine. It worked fine with one microphone and it worked fine with two microphones. So just to make sure, I turned it off and put the rechargeable batteries back on, and the problem was also gone. So in all honesty, feeling a little bit more confused than when I started, I just put everything down and went to bed. The next day I tried the same thing again, but now very inconsistently they either would or wouldn't work depending on nothing. Just sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. Even if every time I did the auto channel scan, it just seemed like a coin toss whether it was going to work well or not. And even with really low powered batteries, again, sometimes it just would work better than other times. I will say this though, the only thing that's consistent is that using it in single channel mode, the transmission distance was a lot longer. So in general, it's a little bit more reliable with single channel. And since then, I've actually used it in a professional gig in single channel, and it worked good, as I would expect the unit to work. So is it fixed? I don't know. But since customer service seemed to just tell me, yes, this is something that kind of happens, here's a guide to help you in the situation, and not, oh, maybe there's something wrong with the unit, you should send it back to us for warranty. And because I don't have a second unit, I can only assume this is normal, and that other reviewers mostly used it in single channel, and maybe some of them did experience this problem, but they didn't feel the need to address it in their videos because, maybe they didn't have it for that long, or the problem didn't arise before they put out their video. I don't know. I also tried looking for other people that might have had this problem at some point, and I couldn't really find any, except a couple of other reviews on Amazon expressing how unreliable the product is sometimes. However, none of them went on to mention it getting fixed by the company at any point. So again, I can only assume this is normal, and that just kind of sucks. But that's what my experience has been, and now I'm sharing with everyone. Make of it what you will. In any case, I hope you found this video helpful in any sort of way. Let me know if you have this product, or maybe the built-in battery one, or any of their product lines, and if you've experienced any problems like I have, or if it is just normal. And at this point, if I ever find myself needing more wireless microphones, I might try the Harmonix, or I might go for the bigger names, like Sony or Sennheiser. Yes, their products are a lot more expensive, but if you're recording live audio, only really get one chance to do it, and if that's gonna mess up your whole production, well, it's one of the things that you really can't afford not to. So, to arm with this knowledge, I hope you can make a better informed decision when looking for your next wireless system. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, we'll have a completely new content video. It's sort of interesting and also related to audio. And I'm actually using the COMICA on it. So if you want to check that out, hit subscribe and come back next week. Until then, see you guys later.